Greetings class, this is your teacher, Brian Jump. In this video I'm going to show you how to handle the rest of the semester. I'll cover attendance, the contingency coursework, acquiring notation software, the lectures and their accompanying quizzes, the final exam, and the due date. So hopefully you've already been logging on to Schoology and paying attention to the updates tab. So I've been trying to post new updates routinely. And you should also get an email every time I post an update. The first thing we have to talk about is attendance. So the way that I'm going to handle it is that you will be required to log on to Schoology at least once a week for the remaining 7 weeks of the semester. So I'll measure that from Sunday night at midnight to the next Sunday night at midnight. So basically Mondays. So here we are today, Monday, March 23rd, right? Then Monday, March 30th, Monday, April 6th, Monday, April 13th, the 20th, the 27th, and then May 4th is the last day of class. And then this is technically finals week, and your final exam will be due Monday, May 10th. Okay, more on that later. So please make sure that you log on to Schoology at least once a week. If you've noticed in the gradebook, I've normalized the attendance score to 50 points for the first half of the semester. And then each of those 7 remaining weeks will be worth 7 points apiece, except for the last week, which will be worth 8 points, giving you a total of 50 points to match up with the first half of the semester. You've probably already noticed the contingency coursework folder on Schoology. So I'll be placing coursework here designed to make up for the missed classes. So I've already put one piece of coursework here, this little Beatmakers lingo. It's a quiz based on an internet glossary that features a bunch of nifty electronic music terms. So you can study the glossary, take the little quiz. Pretty easy. Okay. Important piece of information here, and that is what we're going to do about the music profile and the scores that you had to notate and the MIDI sequences that you had to create. So I'm going to ask you to procure some means of notating music with software. If you have access to a computer that you can install programs to, that'll be the most ideal, because you can download MuseScore, which is free, fully functional, and fairly easy to use. If you Google MuseScore, you'll go to the MuseScore website, and you can download software. And it's totally free, meaning that it works without having to purchase anything. And it's not like normal free software, which badgers you to buy it for real, or pollute your screen with ads. Here's the MuseScore Wikipedia page. It's just an example of free and open source software. And it's pretty comparable to Finale and Sibelius, but it's free. Okay, that's the most ideal. Now I know that not all of you will have access to a computer that you can install software to. So if you have access to a phone, there are a number of options. For example, I have an iPhone, and I noticed several free and or inexpensive notation apps like Notation Pad Sheet, Flat, Music Score, and Tab Editor, Score Creator. There are likely similar or maybe even the same apps available for Android phones. Now, this isn't ideal, and there's likely going to be some growing pains here, but I'd like to keep some of the production aspects of this class in place. So if you run into some issue, you don't have access to a computer that you can add programs to, you don't know how to use your app, I want you to try and work the problem to the best of your ability. Can you make this work? Can you improvise? Will you purchase a real program that makes all your problems go away? Or are you going to look for an excuse at every turn to not have to do these projects? You're all angling to be professional musicians, so having some notation software seems logical anyways. There are some purchasable notation apps, like Notion, which I noticed is $15. So if you don't have a computer, but you have a telephone, just think what you normally spend $15 on. Are you willing to not spend $15 or to not seek out a free option for the pleasure of giving me an excuse that you just can't do this? Okay, I'm asking you to make this happen. The entire country is in the process of making concessions and improvising their way out of hard problems. I didn't make you buy a book for this class, so please find some notation software. It doesn't matter which one. I've planned for you at least 3 more scores that I will issue via assignments here on Schoology with detailed instructions. As for the DAW projects like audio recordings and MIDI sequences, well, this is my primary concession for this class. I don't see a way to teach this skill, given that the platforms available are typically more expensive than notation software, and GarageBand, which is free, is too wily and festooned with Apple Fantastica to make any kind of coherent assignment. Right, you know how GarageBand is. You press one button and you get magical automatic drums. You press another and effects pop out of nowhere. All the while, users typically have no idea what is happening. Maybe if everyone was using computer-based versions of GarageBand, I can make this happen, but it seems likely that many of you would be using the app version, making it next to impossible to make any kind of tutorial. Right, phones are different. Different phones have different apps. Different phones use different operating systems. It's just all over the map. In any case, it looks like we'll have to focus on music notation, where at least I know you guys have the basic familiarity with musical manuscript. Okay, for your music profile, please just email it to me in its current state. If you have the ability to keep curating it and perfecting it and adding songs to it, then by all means you may do so, and you can turn in the scores that I assign that way. But I suspect that many of you might not have access to a computer that facilitates the kind of things you gotta do for Bandcamp. Right, resizing pictures, uploading WAV files, etc. So it looks like the music profile is another casualty of the coronavirus. Just email it to me in its current state. Send me an email with the URL, and I'll take a look at it. Okay. The lectures will proceed normally. They will be found inside the lectures folder on Schoology, and it will be the same as the first half of the semester. There'll be a video or a PowerPoint presentation and a quiz. Then at the end of the semester, the final exam will be based on these lectures and lecture content quizzes. As for the due dates for this class, all contingency coursework and the lecture content quizzes and the notation assignments, they'll be due by May 4th at midnight. And then the final exam will be due the following Sunday night, May 10th at midnight. Okay, so here's a summary. Make sure you log on to Schoology at least once per week. Find whatever means possible to use notation software. Do the contingency coursework. Do the lecture content quizzes. Email me your music profile in its current state. Try not to worry too much about it. I'll be gentle. And all coursework is due Monday, May 4th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then the final exam, which will be issued on May 4th, will be due by Sunday, May 10th at 11:59 p.m. Okay. Any questions? Feel free to email me.